Call to order the December 12th, 2023 meeting of the Gun Barrel City EDC to be held at 5:30 p.m. at Gun Barrel City Council Chambers, 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas. To establish a quorum, call to my left.
Burson here.
McCullough here.
Key here.
Damiano here.
Ligon here.
Bond here.
We have a quorum. I'd like for us to do something a little different tonight, please. A moment of silence for all the things that are going on in the world, Israel, in America. Please stand with me, would you? Please salute the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice forever. We've come to the citizens' comment portion of our night. Do we have any signed up to speak? Stephen, do you have anybody signed up for the? Okay. They'll move on to item number 2. Discuss, take action to approve the October 2023 EDC financials.
I make a motion, we discuss, take action to approve the October 2023 EDC financials.
Have a second?
Ligon second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question if you don't mind.
Sure.
On the financials, there's and I'm late in noticing this and I apologize, but there's a thing for $73,809 due from Gun Barrel City. What is that?
Gary, I do not know, but I do have a meeting with our accountant where I will get an answer. That has been on the last couple of financial reports. So it may be, I just need to see, I need to ask her and find out exactly what that is.
Okay, because the only thing I can think of is it's sales tax and arrears, and that may or may not be right.
Potentially. I just want to make sure that I understand those financials, and she just got out of tax season apparently, so we have a meeting with her the very first week of January to get that answer. So I can better understand the financials you all are getting.
Good, thank you very much. Other question, we're listing Big Chief Landing as an asset. Do we still own that?
No, and yes, that is another, the layout of the financials as a whole is what we need to talk to our accountant about, is how it is reported. Some of that she has just inherited through the years and keeps rolling forward. But anything in there and the way that it's laid out is what Angela and I will discuss at our January meeting.
Okay. No, I
Hopefully
appreciate it.
We can make it a little bit easier to understand, and we can clarify how some of those things are laid out.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other discussion? We'll turn it over to Paul McCullough. If you got anything you need to say, Paul?
There's a couple of deviations that I need to get with Stephen on in the some of the expenses that we have for October. But other than that, the financials are in good shape, better than they have been in a while. We've got a net forgive me, let me go through this here real quick. I don't see it real quick, but we've got a an ending balance of $370,000 that we have in assets and minus the liabilities. So it's in good shape right now, as far as I can tell.
Okay. There being no further discussion, call for a vote to my left.
Burson, yes.
McCullough, yes.
Key, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Ligon, yes.
Bond, yes.
Motion carries. We'll submit this to the city council. Item number 3, discuss, take action to approve the October 10th, 2023 EDC meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the October 10th, 2023 EDC meeting minutes.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, vote to my left.
Burson, yes.
McCullough, yes.
Key, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Ligon, yes.
Bond, yes.
Motion carries. We adopt the October 10th, 2023 meeting minutes. Discuss, takes action to approve the November 14th, 2023 EDC meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we discuss, take action to approve the November 14th, 2023 EDC minute meetings as presented.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Vote to my left, please.
Burson, yes.
McCullough, yes.
Key, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Ligon, yes.
Bond, yes.
Motion carries. We adopt the November 14th, 2023 EDC mini minutes, and they shall go into our records. Item number 5, discuss, take action on gathering bids to mow EDC-owned properties. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we discuss or take action on gathering bids to mow EDC-owned properties.
Second.
I second.
Let's open the floor for discussion.
Are we going to take and advertise this in the Monitor? How are we going to, what,
I think we're going to need to do that.
is that the bid process we're going to work?
I think that we have to do that from the bid process. Let's get Angie to,
It will depend on the amount of the bid. If it is less than $3,000 a year, Stephen and I can just work with some local vendors to gather bids and get a bid also from the city on doing that.
Okay.
If it's over $50,000, yes, we have to follow all of those bidding rules, but it will not be. So it should be nominal. So we will, I talked to Shannon Wiggins, our building official, about it the other day, but it should be nominal. And so we will lay out the list of the properties and then reach out to several local vendors. To
And that's
bid on
taking off the Pier 334 that we were paying
that. Correct.
to have mowed, so it'll just be our properties.
We would just need to see which properties it is the city's currently mowing. I know they bill for, I think, 2, but we need to make sure we have them all in there.
Are we going to allow the city to also bid?
They will, yes.
Okay. Good.
can we make sure that we have at least 3 bids?
We will,
to
yes,
compare?
that is a requirement of over 3,000, so yeah.
Question on,
Unless they don't bid, Roy, we'll send it out. Sometimes we get no bids because it's such a small job. I can't make them bid, so.
And I
Yeah,
understand.
we could get into a situation, and I have run into that, where we ask a dozen people and we get 2, or sometimes we only get 1 based on the size of the job, so we just have to be prepared for that.
We can understand that. If the point comes to where we only get 1 or 2 people that bid, in addition to the people that are doing it now, the city,
Right,
I think we
Sure.
can move forward, yes.
sure.
Angela, the last time I saw something on this, it had 2 properties. It had the Big Chief property and it had the Church Street property. Are there any others that you're aware of?
There are other properties the EDC owns. I just recently sent Stephen a full list of that, so we'll need to see, like, I know where the lawnmowers race, that is an EDC property, but I think the city is maintaining it. So I need to get all of that straight. Which properties is the city currently maintaining? Which ones do they bill the EDC for? So,
Okay, just for my own edification, does the city lease the lawnmower thing, track?
it does not, it's just been kind of here's the property, and the city has just, the Lawnmower Association has a contract with the city to do that because of liability reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what the status of it
Yeah.
was. Okay,
There's not a lease back, if you will, so.
okay.
Well, my understanding, the contract that I had in my desk and looked at, it was for specifically those 2 properties.
Yes,
And I just want to make sure that we've got everything covered.
yeah, absolutely.
I know that right over here on this corner is being taken care of. Is that part of the city's mowing, or is that?
I do not know, Roy, right off the top of my head. I will have to look at all the properties and then sit down with the streets team and parks team and see what are they maintaining and how it was getting billed back to the EDC and all of that.
Okay.
We'll get that all together before we go to bid.
So do I have a motion to table this at this point and let the discussion and the investigation go forward?
I'll make a motion that we table this until more information can be gathered and presented at that time to take action.
Second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion on that motion? Vote to my left.
Burson, yes.
McCullough, yes.
Rankin, yes.
Key, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Ligon, yes.
Bond, yes.
Motion carries. It'll be tabled, and that's something we'll talk about, I guess, after the holidays, because Stephen's going to be gone and you're going to be kind of tied up.
Yeah, I would say if there are other items like that you guys are curious about, just let me know, and I can bring completed items to the board for y'all to act on. So like this item, you could have just given me a shout, and I'm happy, Stephen and I are happy to work together to figure out the list of properties and then get some tentative bids so that when it comes to the board, y'all can act on a complete project.
And hopefully, this is a non-mowing part of the season, so
It is a non-mowing
we've got
part of the
time to
season
get this
typically.
together.
I don't know, a little bit of rain and sunshine will kill that.
And I understand, but I think it's very important that we put it on the record that we're doing this and getting it put forward, so it's open and notorious. Let's go to item number 6. Discuss, take action to set up an EDC general workshop, including the EDC loan and grant programs. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to discuss and take action to set up an EDC general workshop, including the EDC loan and grant programs.
Bond, second.
Any discussion? Turn it over to Angela.
This is another one that we are working on behind the scenes. I had several members of the boards come to me and say, hey, it'd be a great idea if we got some additional training. So we have reached out to a couple of different vendors that do this, that I have and my cohorts have worked with in other cities to come in and do kind of a review of the objectives and the goals of the EDC as outlined in the comp plan. And then kind of what does an EDC do, and hopefully we can invite both the EDC and council to that so everybody's on the same page, outline what are our goals for the next year, all of that good stuff. But we are already working on that behind the scenes to set that up. So we'll have more information soon. Much like our general workshop we did right at the beginning where we did a project update, it will be along that same lines, but with a third party, that expertise, if you will.
So is that something you're looking at putting together for January, or?
It won't happen in January. I have my first meeting with, the holidays are kind of crazy for different vendors. So we have our meeting, I think it's the first week of January with them to set up a time, and then we'll work with the board to determine and council to determine when the best time to do that is. But I would assume in the first quarter of 2024 for sure.
I'd like to change the motion,
You'd like to what?
change the motion
Go ahead, Mr. Bond.
to take action to allow Angie and Stephen to get together to set up a EDC general workshop, including the EDC loan and grants program, and possibly include the city council in this workshop.
Second?
Ligon, second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I don't, near as I can tell, Angie, what you're looking at is sometime in February, is that correct?
It will depend on the availability of the people that we end up using to do it. So as I mentioned, first quarter of 2024, so January, February, March, it would either be late January, sometime in February, or early March. I would prefer we do it as soon as possible. So as soon as I can get a consultant and all the people that need to be there on the same page at the same time, that's when we will do it. We won't push it off. I think it's critical with a majority new board. That got appointed, I think, right before I started, July, August, September. It's critical to get everybody on the same page, marching the same direction, and make sure that Stephen and I understand what your priorities are.
the thing that I want to make sure that we have in place is a mechanism by which we start reviewing the incoming request. I think we've got
Sure,
some.
that will all be part of it. The grants, the loans, the whole 9 yards will be a part of that workshop where the board can decide how they want to move forward with that.
Thank you.
I'd like to propose that maybe, I think there's a bunch of loose ends that we could probably have a workshop just to address, to clear up for us ourselves. And some of that has to do with the loans and the grants, and some of that has to do with processes, possibly vendors. I don't know off the top of my head, but there's some things that we should probably get to sooner than later. And if we did a 3 or 4 hour workshop for the board to have some open discussion and come to some conclusions on some things, I think it would help everybody in the long run.
Mr. Bond has a motion on the floor. It's seconded. We need to address that.
Okay.
Do you want to amend your motion to include what he's talking about, or do you believe, I believe what you've said covers what he's trying to get done.
I believe it does, and I think there is some benefit with a number of new board members on to have some guidance there as we have those conversations. That's all I'm arguing. So that's why a consultant helps. There will be things that the consultant doesn't get up and tell you what to do, but they give you some guiding parameters of how to set up, what is your plan going forward, what are some of those loose ends, and how do we tie those up, so.
And the reason I wanted to include the city council is because they're going, again, it's part of team building.
It is.
The more we work with the city council, the more unity we have. And if we can get them if we can all be on the same page, I think that would just be nothing but an asset to the city.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to make a comment. Keith, I agree with you. I think that the closer that the EDC and the city council are to being on the same page, everybody wins, okay? The other piece of it, though, is I think the EDC itself has to get on the same page
Yes.
on a number of things, whether it's learning, whether it's clarification, whether it's process, whether
Yeah.
it's criteria that I don't think we have a good handle on right now.
Yeah, and this could be a two-part, where one day the EDC, I mean, there are a lot of options. I don't know what all those options are. My request to the board would be to continue working behind the scenes to come up with some ideas and then bring that back to a board at a later meeting. I think that's Keith's motion, is just to allow me to go away and try to put some of this together. And, maybe it's a 2-day workshop where it's EDC one day and EDC and council the next. Once I talk to an expert in this field of working with the type of EDC board that you all are, I will have a better idea of how that might flow.
Yeah, and I'll amend my motion to give you the power to set up
Kidding.
the workshop as you see fit. Or if you think one for the EDC board themselves, however you can get us together,
Bring it back to the board to discuss, for sure.
yes.
If you allow me just a minute, the motion that Mr. Bond has on the floor does adequately address that.
It does.
And I think that's something that we can move forward from that without muddying the waters anymore. He's done a good job putting his arm around it. And the discussion that Mr. Damiano brought forth adds to it, but it still falls under that same umbrella. So that penumbra still falls out here, and I'd like for us to deal with that. If that's okay with you, Keith, would you?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got a motion. To my left, a vote?
Burson, yes.
McCullough, yes.
Rankin, yes.
Key, yes.
Damiano, no.
Ligon, yes.
Bond, yes.
Okay, item number 7. Update from the EDC Bylaw Review Committee. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Bond to lead the discussion.
We met yesterday, and it was just a general kind of meeting to get all three of to get the committee together. Had Angie and Stephen with us to help guide us. I think there was a lot of discussion of where we have been, where we were, and where we want to get to. But I think everybody's on the same page. They want what's best for Gun Barrel. We don't want to be what we were. We want to move forward. We want to we want the city to move forward, and the EDC needs to move forward to do that, and working with council. I can't stress that enough. So we've got several other bylaws from other cities, and they all follow the Texas Municipal League guideline. And at the very end, after everybody talked, we talked for quite a while. At the very end, we came to the conclusion that what we're going to do is meet once a month. And I think it's on the 15th, but this month it's on the 16th because of Martin Luther King's birthday. And so we're going to take it kind of like they did the charter review. We're going to take it by section. All of them start off purpose. So we'll address that. We may be able to get 2 in at a time, but we're going to go through and try to do it in sections and groups. We talked also about this isn't 3 people doing it and then taking it to y'all and saying, this is what you're going to do. Angie is going to send out what we've discussed in the meeting to each member of the board. And y'all will be getting copies of everything that we're reviewing and what we're saying and doing. And we want y'all to send her back input to what we're doing. Because this isn't the review committee's bylaws. This is the EDC boards.
Yes.
So we're just kind of guiding and looking and giving suggestions, and we're wanting suggestions.
And I'd like to acknowledge that we just got a mailing of the 2023 bylaws for us all to look at to help
2020.
refresh our memory and go from there. I know that you're looking at some other stuff, but I just want to make sure everybody knows you've got a copy in your inbox of the 2023 bylaws that were sent by Angie.
Right.
Anything else,
One
Keith?
request is, I will keep you all updated. Please communicate with me and not with each other.
Yes.
That's my one request. Please don't have communication among yourself. You have a committee of 3 that are working on this. If you want to talk about it, you know where I'm at. You're welcome to stop by or give me a call anytime and we can chat. But we don't want to end up with a quorum discussing this outside of a meeting. So it's very important that you come talk to me if you have questions.
And that's in agreement. Everybody understands. Okay.
And I think we're off to a good start. There was, like I said, there was some good discussion, good back and forth, a lot of what if. So I think we've got a really good group, really good team, and I'm looking forward to working through this for the betterment of Gun Barrel.
And I'm going to say I have a lot of confidence, and I'm really happy that Mr. Bond and Mr. Damiano and Ms. Rankin are all together. They've got seasoned views and sometimes disparate views, and that's what we need. It's very good. Anything else?
That's our next meeting, like I said, will be on January 16th, which is a Tuesday, and we decided to change the meeting times to 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock?
That way it doesn't put, 3 o'clock. That way it doesn't put Stephen here after hours.
Thank you.
We can all make that time, and it was just more convenient.
Thank you. That's good.
All future meetings will be at 3 o'clock unless otherwise stated.
And I want to point out, whenever they have this meeting, they're going to be in a locked room, so any other board members that come into the office, we can't be there because there will be a quorum, so we must keep them in a locked door and leave them alone. All right, if we have no further discussion, no further items, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
We are adjourned without objection.